Good night, folks. Welcome back to Mike and Mike. We are delighted that you take some time out to join us again. We are happy. There's a big changes going on, and we're excited to share with you. Without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. As usual, our panel is Mr. King Tox in the house.
King Tox, baby.
Baby.
Big things are going.
Big things are going. Big things are going down. On mercy. And we welcome back the president of Khalees, Mr. Angel in the house.
Yes, Prime Minister.
On mercy.
Thank you.
AKA Baby Trump in the house.
The intelligent investor.
On mercy. I can see the time. Children, I can see. I have a dream. Hey, my name is Mike, as usual. Welcome, one and all. And without further ado, as I said, we have some exciting topics. We're going to jump right into it. So one of the things on my agenda, one of the things that my curiosity is running...
His agenda.
Yeah, is running wild on my agenda is that this 50 fugitives, I call them fugitives.
I knew he was going to start with that.
That Mr. AKA Baby Trump father released from South Africa. But yet he denied all the countries in the world. I leave that alone right there. Anyway, gentlemen, what's on your...
You know, I've come to the conclusion that you only dwell on the negative, sir.
No.
How can you start
I've
with
been
that?
saying that. Check.
Yeah, he seems so vibrant, so
My
like
mic is good, right?
overzealous.
Like, yeah, your mic is good. I can hear you.
Yeah, I've been saying that.
Life is good.
It's all doom and gloom with him.
Oh, my
Everything
God.
is negative. The sky is falling.
Listen,
Things are bad.
I am...
That's
one
Chicken
week.
Little.
It's not even a complete week.
What?
It's what? It was what? Today's what? Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
And
we
what?
accomplished what?
We accomplished a lot, man.
We?
We accomplished a lot. My man.
Stock prices are
My
up
man,
right now.
stock. Yo, my Robin Hood is popping right
as
now.
predicted by Baby Trump.
My Robin Hood is popping as predicted by the intelligent investor, Mr. White.
Listen, at the end of the day, you know I talk on the good and I talk on the bad.
Yeah,
Yes.
but why you have to start with the bad?
What?
I'm like,
It doesn't matter whether I start with the bad or the good. It's still going to be a balance,
well,
right?
it had me questioning too, because you're talking about
Exactly.
the 50 South African refugees, the Afrikaners. But like I was saying earlier, I don't think that's racially motivated. I think that's more so nepotism. I'm still not with that. Elon is South African. I'm assuming this has something to do with him.
There's probably some connection.
I mean, that's the least he could do for Elon. You know, he gave
Exactly.
election.
He's doing it for free. He's like, sleeping in the buildings.
So
I'm like,
that means it's like half his family then if he's doing it for Elon.
that's not half his family. Those are Elon
I'm
slaves. They're going to come over here and work. Elon got white slaves. Go Elon. Elon got white slaves.
Go Mus.
So kick it off now. Let's hear what you want to address first.
So, well, I mean, I started off where I don't understand. Well, for instance, according to what's going on, U.S. cut ties with Israel, which is a good thing.
Yes.
I hope
Pleasant surprise.
They're not just talking, but it's also a physical reaction to it where they don't.
Of course.
They cut ties from every aspect, from weapon, from financial support,
As they should.
the whole shebang.
80 years of nonsense, finally.
The whole shebang.
No more.
These guys, they reign around, they do things. Listen, I am not gonna condole when people, like for instance, the Palestinians, when they
That's breaking news.
breaking news. Yeah, I saw that.
$4.5 trillion in tax cuts.
Yeah.
But continue what you were saying.
You had to put it in his face like that.
Oh no, I thought he didn't
Well,
see.
I'm gonna get to that too because that's
right.
one of the things I see, and all the Democrats says hell no.
Yeah.
Kind of surprising. But
Those ain't my Democrats though. I'm a real
That's kind of
Democrat.
surprising to you.
I said it's not really surprising.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, but getting back.
there's people. I mean, when they're doing just stuff like that, there's somebody's losing some type of
Come on, they're not.
under the table. Something gonna get disconnected.
They're not being logical. No, but like you were saying, getting back to Israel, it's about time. That's a pleasant surprise. That caught me off guard. I said, what? Because I told you what I was contentious with. I wasn't happy with that. And out of nowhere, I guess he came to his senses, or he was giving Netanyahu the benefit of the doubt, and you can see that Netanyahu was basically, a POS.
Yeah, he was doing this crap because he know that the U.S. is behind him, and the U.S. condole a lot of foolishness what Israel does.
Not no more, BB.
And
bye-bye, BB.
One of the things Riera said, I don't condole when Palestine are from the guys them from Palestine, the terrorists from that's a harbor in Palestine when they attack Israel and stuff like that, and Israel respond. Say, I am not condoling that they should lay dead. It's just like as what from a spiritual standpoint, God doesn't expect you to be a dead zone. He needs you to help you protect yourself as well, as he step in and help protect you as well. So he expect that. But at the same time, these guys just went overboard, where they started shutting down borders where kids can't get water, and stuff like that. Cannot get food. I mean, the people them don't. Yes, the tourists may be harboring their country, but these other people don't have no control of how to stop these issues. So they're making to penetrate or to hurt the devils. They're hurting everyone right across the board, all innocent people. And the fact of the matter is that you claim this is a Christian nation or this is a Muslim nation that support to help each other and have God-fearing mentality and the way they behaving. So I'm happy where America steps in. Trump, all kudos to you, sir. All kudos to you, sir. I want you on the show, sir. But anyway, I give him kudos, some respect to that, where he said no more, enough is enough. And then Kadab, whatever his dog and name is, he went into exile. How the hell he get back into power?
Who's that?
The prime minister of Israel.
Bibi Netanyahu?
Yeah, Nahu. How the hell he get back into power?
He's a dirtbag. He was always in power. He's a dirtbag. But see, he got what it is, because now that's your ass, BB.
Yeah, that's
he
good.
has no more protection.
Let his arrogance stay there by himself.
He has no more protection.
Now he's gonna, when the U.S. I hope U.S. cut off everything, not just word of mouth, where they just
No, I think
we're
they're
gonna
cutting ties.
support you financially.
No.
I want to stop supporting them military wise, financially wise, whole shebang.
You'll see.
Because this is the other way these guys are gonna start their bull crap. And if you look at it, the way these guys behave here also in the U.S., they have control over practically everything. They control the court system and stuff like that. They're not being fair.
No.
They don't be fair, and I don't support. And then what burns me is that you have this God-fearing mentality or culture in you, but yet you're behaving like some wall dog or something like that. It's crazy. I don't get this hypocritical.
Because that's exactly what it is. They're
hypocrites.
hypocrites.
You don't want to hear the word God or anything because of a nation like these. At the end of the day. But anyway, so that was one of the things. I don't know if you guys have any 2 cents to jump on or elaborate on, but that was my piece.
No, like I was saying, it's about time that happened. It's a long time coming. I mean, even before Netanyahu, even the prime minister before him, they've always been problematic. They're basically like, if it's a crew of friends and you have that one problematic friend that doesn't know how to fight but always wants to run their mouth and start all the nonsense, and then you got to sit there and fight their battles for them and cut them off. So that's basically what's happening now. And then you're going to see. Look, there's a lot of state representatives. There's a lot of people in all high levels of government here that they have dual citizenship. Not anymore. It's either you choose Israel or you choose the United States. You're not going to have dual citizenship anymore.
Those usually they give those to what they call it, what's the guys where they represent their country when they come to
ambassadors.
The ambassadors. Yeah, they usually give them dual citizenship.
Well, that's an ambassador because he's from that country, but there's a lot of people here in high levels of government. In our government, they have dual citizenship.
Diplomat immunity thing, right?
Yeah, but they have. But on top of that, they have dual citizenship. Well, no, those are ambassadors.
Visa.
Those are ambassadors.
Passport.
But then you have people here that are in high levels of government that they're American citizens, but they also have Israeli citizenship, so they're dual citizens.
Right.
And you have them all in the very, very high offices in government.
It's all over the world.
No, but I mean not the way it is over here in the United States.
Maybe it's a higher case in the U.S.
It shouldn't be. Why? It's basically to where that's how we were compromised because
they're gonna
why are
revolt
there so many? Yeah, there's so many people in high levels of government in our government that that they also have dual citizenship with Israel, and mind you, they influence how our government is run. So basically, we were being occupied the same way that the way that land over there was being occupied. Except that they weren't, they were being sneaky about it, and now that's not happening anymore. So you're going to see a big divide. There's going to be a lot of people that they're going to have to make a choice. It's either you're pro America or you're pro Israel. And if you're pro Israel, then you need to leave.
They're not going to do that. Yeah,
You'll see.
It's a personal thing for Justin. I know he was like shocked and excited at the same time.
Yeah.
When he heard the news.
No, because I was, that's a good thing. That's a big
Or
step
Saudi
forward.
news.
That's a big step forward for our country. Let's put it that way. For our economy, that's a really, really big step forward. In a positive way.
I think it was a good move the U.S. make, Trump make, or his party make. I think it was a good move because there's a lot of dictatorship coming from that culture.
Yeah.
That nation at the end of the day. And
Don't let Justin bully you into
No,
saying these
and
stuff,
they,
you know.
listen, I have dealt with them from a business standpoint.
He's telling them
from a
manipulated,
political
right?
standpoint, and it
Sound
is
like a different
Course.
it is corruption right across the board, and because they feel that they don't have any accountability. You see, this is one of the things why I don't want to work for the government as a premeditated stuff because there's lack of accountability within the government. Now, let me clean this up. Now, it's not every part of the government are like that, but you find that the most portion part of it is people who does customer service.
Yeah.
You'll find there's no accountability to them in that sense.
None whatsoever.
And one of the things why I said I don't like working for the government in that area, specific area, is that it's somewhere down the line, my characteristic is going to sort of change. It's like if you have a bad apple and you put it in a good bunch, what's going to happen later on?
You'll rot the rest
It's
of
going to
it.
rot the rest of the apples. Exactly.
So that's the same thing I was saying is like, I mean, if I get the job, yeah, I'll go, but I will try to figure out a way. I'm not just going to get up and go and apply for it like that. It's because of what I've seen, I mean, these people, and I mean, right up to almost to the top, there's no accountability. And because there is no accountability, people just do as they please. They respond to people as they please. And you go into customer service, number one. How the hell you are customer service and you always have attitude towards the public or towards people
I
in
see
itself?
that a
I don't
lot.
get it. This is what you signed up for. Some people just take because they just get the job. They sign up and they sit and say, "Oh yeah, well."
Sounds like my job.
But you have some people who deliberately like to like dealing with people, and they go into these services and but I don't know. But it's crazy.
We gave him his 15 minutes of fame,
Accountability matters.
Yeah. Any thoughts, guys?
I'm with you 100%. Accountability matter. Like
Right?
someone
Yeah,
has to hold
definitely.
Yeah.
someone responsible for doing their job, and they have a duty to serve the public
Correct.
with a certain level of service.
So let's share the good news.
Oh, now we can get to the good news?
Yes,
What's the
let's
good
share the
news?
good news.
That was good news.
That's pretty
too.
good news.
Yeah, that was very good news, but even better news.
Yeah. Better news. What's the better news?
They came to a deal with China. Like I knew China would fold. Like what I've been saying.
What do you mean they fold? Did they come to you?
Is he this much in denial?
listen,
I wouldn't say they fold.
Exactly.
But,
They didn't fold.
No, listen.
They
But
folded.
What was
No,
it?
they
What
did not.
was the disclosure?
Know
of that?
when to
You
hold 'em.
asked me to come to the table.
Know when to fold 'em.
Listen,
Mike and I, right? Listen, Mike and I is in some disagreement, right? And we said,
no, but
listen,
they had to give up something, though.
yeah, but I'm saying
Yeah,
it's
had
not unnecessary. It's not. I'm trying to debunk the word he used, the fold. I'm saying if Mike and I is have some disagreement,
Okay.
and one of us say, you know what, let's talk. We come to the table, we talk, we reach common ground and say, you know what I'm gonna do is gonna benefit you. What I'm gonna do is gonna benefit me. We walk away, shake hands. There's nobody folding. If
But it came back to the original, we call it,
The original deal.
which was 10% importation fee.
Yeah.
right,
tariff
I
fee.
mean, at the end of the day, fear is fear.
They capitulated.
Yeah.
They
At the
caved in,
end of the
right?
day, we called China's bluff because you don't mess with us.
They weren't bluffing because they were applying tariff just like how Trump was pushing tariff. The more
but-
Trump pushing, the more they
but-
push up.
But
And when they
we are the
realized, they're like, wait, we're
consumers,
gonna
though.
lose.
Remember, we are the one who
Yes, we are the
consumers.
consumers,
Like,
but you see what they did? You see what they were doing?
What?
They were cutting us out as the middleman.
I mean, cutting us
Me,
out.
okay. So
They-
you know
they-
that we are the massive consumer when it comes to China and other worlds, other countries around there,
Yeah,
right?
we're the
Repeat
world's
that.
biggest
So-
consumer.
Right. So
Repeat
The word power.
So at the end of the day, what they were doing now, because we have iPhones, we have all these other manufacturers here that sending the jobs to China. You know, you have these other guys in Europe does the same thing. So what China was doing is say, oh, you want to play these games? World, here's the thing. What Apple was doing, Apple is sending their products over here. We build them for cheap.
Everybody
and send
knows
it back
that.
to you.
Everybody
Exactly.
who doesn't know
so
that.
China know what China was doing because a lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people didn't know that. So what China was doing, now China started coming out on Instagram, TikTok, social media and said, listen, you don't have to deal with these guys. Come to us directly. Forget about you going to Apple and buy your stuff here. We have the same here.
But that's not
We
new
will
though,
s-
Mike. That's nothing new. Apple is a name brand, you know that, right?
Yes, I'm
So
just using this
It's
example.
actually a luxury brand, Apple.
Right, but guess what? Apple go over China and they make the phones for what? For $2. And they
No,
come and say,
I don't know about that.
no, come on, Mike. You know I'm using.
$2
For dirt
It's
cheap.
an exaggeration, but I'm
For
saying,
dirt cheap.
listen to the
Okay,
context,
okay,
man.
okay. I'm listening. Calm down.
So they go over there and they make the phone for $2, right? And they come back over here and sell it for 15 or 20.
Yeah.
How the hell,
But
you know?
you're using exact figures of what the sale price is when it comes here.
What?
How much does
What are you talking
it
about?
cost to produce a phone in China?
For little or nothing. Again,
that
I
price-
use-
You're
I-
saying $2. And
Nah,
I'm
it's
using
like-
as example
I think to
is it-
produce a phone
because
is
it's
like-
that low. It's that low.
Alright, so it's low. All right.
It's low. It's
really
like
low.
15 to $20 to produce it. And then on this end, when it's finally sold, the phone sells for like
It's like
$1,000.
$1,500,
$1,500, yeah.
It's
So-
quadruple the amount what they used to
So check
spend
this
and
out.
make
So
it.
you would really go to China to purchase, let's say, whatever, and come back with that item and pay a markup of 145%? Does that spell sense? I mean, what are you going to buy? One phone?
I mean, if I'm doing business, no. But if I'm buying, if I can find the loophole or find the avenue where I can order a phone from, just like our order from Amazon, order a phone from China, of course. I wish some of those cars
one
were over here
phone?
too.
One phone?
Of course.
And pay what? And pay what for it?
I'm the one who buying it, right? So I buy it directly from them. The turf is not going to hit me because I'm not a manufacturer who will be distributing it. So it's not going to hit
No,
me.
You're paying to import the phone.
Yeah,
You are-
you're gonna pay customs duties.
You're the one who have to
You
pay.
got to pay custom.
You're gonna get tariffs.
So I'm going to, okay, so fair enough.
You
I'm gonna-
just say you buy
145%.
You just say you buy one phone.
145%.
You say you buy one phone. That's personal use.
It's personal use, so I don't think it's gonna. That's
it
what I
don't
was
matter.
coming
They're
at.
still gonna tariff you.
That's what I was coming
Don't
at. It's
matter.
not gonna apply.
You use that. Put in
It's
the,
a
in the phone
personal
case.
use. Thank you, Angel,
Don't
for
matter.
it's a personal use. It's not the turf is not gonna apply.
It don't matter.
Of course, it matters.
put
You
it-
didn't read
put it-
didn't
you
read
put
out
it
the
in a-
rules.
You put it in a phone case.
Yes.
Yes, so it doesn't apply to personal use.
Mike.
Oh my goodness! What do I have? Okay.
Well, they call it tax. They don't call
No,
it tariff.
it's
but it's the
different
same
than
thing.
when
Let me
if I go in a country with a watch on my wrist and I go in a country with a watch in a box, the same watch.
If I go to
Because
Jamaica,
I'm wearing it.
if I go to Jamaica with, let's say, two phones, right? One is brand new in a box, and custom officer stopped me and asked me, whatever question they ask, right?
Mhm.
They charge me like 100% a duty fee on that phone.
Yeah, they call it duties.
Yeah, because
Duties
because
another word for
it-
tariff
it-
when it comes to personal
I
law.
believe-
Which is the same thing.
When it comes to a personal purchase, but they
you're
call
pres-
it duties.
You're
But it's the same
presenting
thing.
it as brand new or packaged for reselling. Or was it
Yeah,
gift
well, no,
item?
it's because you bought it somewhere at a very, very cheap rate than what you would buy it in the United States. So in order for that country to make their money, they're going to tax you because you're leaving that
And they're assuming
area.
that you're
Yeah.
gonna
assuming it's
resell
not
it.
And then
for personal
and
use.
But
even-
everyone, no, I mean resell what? One phone. You order one phone to go and resell it. Come
Yeah,
on.
Yeah, if
do
it's in
that,
the
of
box,
course.
if it's in the box,
Because look, let's
Yeah,
put it
but
this
so,
way.
I mean,
Let's put it this way. Say if I can go to Jamaica, right? Say if I can go to Jamaica and I can get the brand new iPhone for 500 cash, knowing that that phone is 2,000 over here. I pay 500 cash. I might get tariffed what 100%.
Right.
So I pay $1,000 for the phone. I can still sell that phone for $1,500.
okay, so what these guys are saying, it says, yes, tariff can be applied to the item imported from personal use. Generally, the same duties apply to important personal use as they do for commercial.
Yeah.
Imports, however,
If you keep it in the
However,
country,
it says there are some exceptions, such as for low-value imports or gifts and duties-free allowance for these travelers. So technically,
But what's considered low value? Is it at
if
the discretion of the
product
country?
is a low-value product itself, then they would give you. They're not going to apply the 145.
But what's
tariff
what's
on-
considered low value though? I think that's
I
at the
guess
discretion of each
product-
country.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
I mean, and you go to Jamaica, say if there's a country that doesn't have much money, anything could be low value. They could be like, oh, well, this is low value, so you're going to have to pay, or it's not low value. Maybe their low value is $1, and then the phone's worth $2. Yeah, I'm going to have to tariff you another $2.
well, that's low value is going to be based in the country's assessment.
it could be the country assessment, and
But
it could
each
be-
country can
and
differ.
It could be the product itself too.
Right, but you're not going to get to make up your own prices. Every item going to have a description and a value.
Yeah, most likely.
You're not going to go to a custom officer
I
and
think-
say this phone is low value.
Yeah, I mean,
No, they
that's
have
not-
to determine that. They don't. You don't determine
between
that.
the
They
two
determine.
governments, between the two governments, who's going to determine what is a low
Right.
value.
So this
where-
is what they normally
right.
do. So when I bring anything to Jamaica, right, anything of value that they think I'm gonna resell, right, they will go to the website or to
Look
see
it
what.
up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They attacked me one day.
Wait, so Mike, you get tariffed going into Jamaica
Yeah,
with your
yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
I would call it tariffs.
Yo,
Yeah.
Wow.
I went down.
I got taxed
Anywhere
for a
between
watch.
80 to 100%.
I had a watch. And
I think
got
they charge
taxed
you
for it.
100%.
Even if it's your own personal item.
I mean, it depends. It depends. So if I'm going with this phone, right? Of course, it's my personal phone. It's one phone.
Yeah.
If I'm traveling with two phones and one is in like a box, like it's brand new.
Oh, they're gonna tax you.
Right. They
They're
tax.
not, they're not even gonna say,
Right.
oh, maybe it's a gift. They don't give that. They don't care if it's
Nah,
a gift
they
for a
don't.
family
No.
member.
So how you
They're taxing you.
Okay, so the policy with that is this is what you do. If you allow two personal phones.
Okay.
However, if as what Mike says, if one is in a box, they're gonna apply it.
They're gonna tax you on that.
Even though the rule is that you allow two phones. So
Yeah.
you usually have to debunk that or to circumvent that,
Mm-hmm.
you'd have to take the phone out the box. Now,
Right.
let's say you have the two phone in your pocket or you have the two phone in your hand out the box and stuff like that. If they find you with another phone, what these guys they did it, I think in 2019 when I went to Jamaica. And I had 3 phones. One was stuck in my shoes. They purposely hide it because they know about the rules. And these guys dig up my suitcase and like, oh.
Yeah.
It was an iPhone.
They discovered a watch would be like that.
Hold on a second. Oh, this phone costs $290. All right, here what? We want $290 for this. I'm like,
You want what?
So you're paying for the phone all over again.
yeah, you're paying for the phone all
Serious
over
thing.
again.
Serious thing.
No.
It's crazy.
Because I
man.
have a lot of personal
That's
experience.
extortion.
Right. I had a personal experience similar to that too. Mine was that I already had a watch in my hand, but that's just my traveling watch. I got a watch that I'm gonna dress up with. It's in my bag. The customer officer found it, so I had to write it down. I had to declare it. And when I'm leaving the country, I gotta show them the watch. They take you in the room.
Oh, they mean business because they want to make sure that you didn't sell that phone.
You declare it.
Yeah, they're worse than Jamaica.
You take it back. They give you a receipt
Right.
for it.
Some of the good news, because I guess Justin over there, I don't know if he's intimidated by Mike.
Yeah,
Doesn't
boy.
matter, right?
He's operating on a balanced ground.
So for the first 100 days of this administration, right?
Oh
So
yes.
I was watching a popular podcast show in Jamaica.
Oh, that
From
those
here,
guys
but
are-
they're located in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
It's called The Fix, and they were talking to this member of parliament. He's like a politician.
He's a politician, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good guy. Brilliant guy. His name is Dr. Andre Orton.
Yeah, I
He's
try to
an
pull up-
economist.
And he's a member of parliament in Jamaica.
Yeah, he's an economist.
Okay.
And he used to aid politics. He used to speak out against politicians.
Yeah.
But he said for him to make change, you have to become a politician,
Yeah.
right?
He's right.
And I agree with that. Brilliant guy, man. Like, if that guy is running the country, like Jamaica, I think the country would be in a
place.
better condition.
What's the name of your
So
guy?
big up yourself, Doc.
Yes, what's
Okay.
the name of your guy?
Huh?
Bakeli, what's the name of your guy?
Repeat that.
The name of your guy, Bakeli, whatever, from El Salvador?
From El Salvador. Wait, who are you talking about? The president.
Yeah.
So
I
hold
forgot
on.
his name.
So
Ed Kelly.
Yeah, everybody take leads from him, too.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Andrew Horton.
Orton, yeah.
Okay.
So the girl that was interviewing him, what's her name? I think so you have Ari and you have Javi. They're my favorite podcaster too.
All right.
But she was saying to the doc that Joe Biden did a lot of good things, you know. and
He does.
the current administration came
Maybe
and
Trump over here
reversed
giving Biden credit right there.
the current administration came and reversed it. Like, let's see, what did she mention? She mentioned student loans. They wanted to get rid of people's student loans.
Yeah, now they got to pay it.
Yeah, but that wasn't gonna work. That wasn't
Yeah.
gonna work. And
Exactly.
who was gonna pay it? It was gonna be us who was gonna pay it. Right?
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't think
I'm
that-
not paying for. I didn't go to school, so I'm not paying for nobody else's education. Pay for your own damn education.
She mentioned eggs. The prices of eggs went up.
Eggs dropped a lot.
But the price of eggs actually came down.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
came down eventually. I mean, it's still,
Eggs dropped a lot.
It's still not completely where it should be, but
What else she mentioned? But anyway, you know,
It's
separate
education.
and apart from
Gas
that.
dropped too.
she talk
Gas
about
dropped too,
education.
even though certain governors are still keeping a certain price on their gas. Gas dropped a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, by 22%.
Yeah.
So
Gas went
prices
down a
came
lot.
down within the first
yeah,
100
tremendously.
days.
Yeah.
Except these highway criminals, they still have gas up for $4.50, $5
Yeah.
and
Well, that's like in the state of California where they're still gouging them, right? That's Governor Newsom doing that because you have to remember whatever he set at a federal level, whatever they're doing on a state level, they are not the obvious states that are not listening to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in New York, like the gas should be cheaper than what it is. Even though it went down, it should be cheaper. But our governor,
Yeah, but no one
they're
is
the ones
talking
setting the
about that,
president.
though.
Huh?
No one is talking about that gas price came
No,
down by 22%.
yeah, exactly, because they don't want to focus on that.
And inflation,
22% is like it was $3.74 a gallon.
Inflation is at its lowest since what? Since 2021, right?
it's at what, 2.4%?
At its lowest since 2021.
When Joe Biden was president, it
Yep.
was at 4.9, almost 5%.
What's that?
Inflation, the inflation rate.
And what is it right now?
It
Here's
went
the-
down.
here's the
It's down to
thing,
like
though.
2.4.
The crazy part of it is that all these stuff are happening, which is a good side. And then
Next
you
thing, interest rate.
First 100 days.
Interest rate
Unemployment.
was at 9.1%.
Oh, prime, right?
Interest rate.
Yeah.
And what is it right now?
What it went down to?
I'm not sure where it's at now, but it's lower. And the president, he constantly repeat this. He wants to get it like as low as possible. Because the last time when he was in office, interest rate was like the lowest.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was like 1.9.
Somewhere
or
around there.
Something
Some
like
about
that.
prime, yeah.
Right.
It was very low. It was actually a really, really good time to buy a house. And then right after that,
Really good time. 'cause
right after 2020, 2021, it's impossible to
when,
buy a house.
When I purchased, I got what, a 2.9 interest rate.
Uh-huh.
And I have a friend who got it for less.
Look at that.
So for a 10-year interest rate right now, it's at 6.313% for the next 10
Look
years.
at that. So
For
that's-
30 years is a 6.82% for the next 30 years.
And not only that, we secured a commitment of $5 trillion to be invested in America.
Yup. In 100 days. $5 trillion.
And he did all of this in
100 days.
Is it? Wait.
So he
come
did
again?
more than the last administration.
You talking about the cuts? What he making?
No,
Raise it
we're
like-
talking
like-
about the investments that he got for other countries to invest in us. He got
Oh, okay.
$5 trillion in investments in the last 100 days.
It's a beautiful thing.
That is a very beautiful
Say that
thing.
again.
That is a very beautiful
He
thing.
pondered
Yes,
it
I
like-
feel like people, they don't give him the credit, and I feel like
Because they
I-
don't want to. Because then if they give them credit, they're going to realize that they were wrong.
yeah. And,
That's
and
why.
and I don't expect for her to know this, maybe because she doesn't live in America, but this administration is actually doing way more than the last administration.
Yeah.
Or they did way more in 100 days than the last administration.
Did it in
And
4 years.
not only that, breaking news, right? Today, they just voted on that bill where they're going to cut what tax?
4.5
$4.5
trillion
tax cut.
for social security
and tax cuts.
tips on overtime and tips. So they won't tax you on tips, overtime, and social security.
Yes.
What?
And not
They-
one
they
and
want-
not one Democrat voted for
They
it.
won't. They won't.
That is
the-
embarrassing.
The government is not
Not
gonna
one
tax you
Democrat. And it's
on-
for the people.
Exactly.
It's not
And
like
supposedly Democrats are for the people.
Each
Those are the
other
core
get it. So
values.
the government is not going to tax you on tips. Like if you work in a restaurant and
Right.
stuff like you get tips. Also,
Yeah.
they're not going to tax you on overtime.
On
So
overtime.
If you do your 40 hours,
Angel is using some nice words over here. Awesome.
if you use your 40 hours after that,
Yeah.
Pretty incredible.
and then Social Security, they're not going to tax you.
They're not gonna tax
Which I'm
Social
kinda
Security.
surprised. I'm
They
like,
said that's stupendous.
Which they shouldn't be taxing Social
Absolutely.
Security anyway.
exactly. I'm like, why they were taxing Social Security in the first
You see
place?
what I mean? But that's just thievery. So it's the fact that they're not doing it anymore. That's good because your
This is
taxes.
crazy.
These
I
are
didn't
people
even
on
know they
the
were taxing Social Security.
yeah,
This is
Yeah.
crazy. I'm like, what the heck you
It-
taxing Social Security
yeah.
for?
That's it's thievery. And like these are people that are on a fixed income and you're taxing them.
Right.
Well, anyway, as I said, kudos to Trump to making some of these
Kudos.
changes.
First
kudos
100.
to Trump. Kudos to Trump. Give credit where credit
0 to
Yes.
100 real
blood
quick.
is due.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give it where it's due.
Yes.
But stay on the right track. If you slip up, I'm coming at you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm coming at you, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's gonna get better.
Anyway, yeah. So
I
It's gonna
think
get better. It's gonna get
it's.
better.
I like I've been saying. I think it's gonna get
The way-
better.
the way- the way
Everybody
it's
else.
trending right now, it's gonna get better.
Yeah. I'm not
Yo,
listening to
That's
anything.
by though that no Democrat voted.
No
in
Democrat. Can
favor.
you believe that?
But it-
0 Democrats.
Right.
AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Chuck Schumer.
And it's for the people.
Burn. You know, supposedly you guys are for the people. You are
Remember-
not for anybody but yourself. You disgust
the
me.
thing is,
And I'm a
we
Democrat.
We have to have some type of because for them to sit down, I mean, this is a good thing. This is helping society because the person who they're living day to day or paycheck to paycheck.
You sure you didn't put something in your drink?
Yeah. See it floating right here. If you see,
But I like it.
Hey.
if you see someone go to work, right, and people who are making like living on paycheck to paycheck, and they go and they especially people who work in
Hand
fast
to
food
mouth.
or restaurants,
That's me.
these places where they can get tips, right? I don't know the appropriate name for it, but anyway, they go in there and they make their 40 hours, and then boss says, hey, I need a couple of overtime for you, and they're struggling, and then they go in and make that overtime, and the government say, hey, give me my piece again. I'm like, you just taxed me on 40 hours. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Please,
saying?
please.
So this is a good thing for society in itself, where people who are struggling, people who are living like paycheck to paycheck,
I think it's a good thing for everybody.
Keep that
Yeah.
100% tip, because number one, the government shouldn't be even tax you on these tips. This is your
No.
business. This is people saying, I'm grateful for what.
It's
you
low,
have
it's
done.
low income
Even though
individuals
you're
too.
in a business
The
area.
government shouldn't be taxing us at all. We should not be paying federal income tax. That was something that was
Well,
temporary.
I disagree with that.
No, I'm serious. That was something
That's
that was
what I-
temporary.
So how would you pay for public
That was
service?
temporary. That was implemented in 1913 at the beginning of World War
How would they
I.
pay for public
To
service?
fund-
But
no,
that's what I was
let me,
gonna
I'm-
attack
let
you
me
with.
let me talk. We are not supposed to pay federal tax. Okay, that was a temporary thing that was implemented during World War I to fund the war. Okay, what pays for your public service are your state taxes. Okay, you have state, you have federal. Federal tax does not do anything for anybody. You are not supposed to pay federal income tax. You know what? You know what takes care of federal income tax? When you tariff other countries. So the tariff money that you get from them, that everybody's been in an uproar about, that's why you don't pay federal income tax, because the people, the external, you have an external revenue service and you tariff other countries. And then the only tax that we pay here is state income tax.
I conclude that is correct.
Yeah.
That's solid.
We're not supposed
That
to pay
is correct.
federaral tax. That was a temporary thing that was not, people
I
are
So
thought
if that goes into effect,
Wait
do
a
we
minute,
do we
I
get
thought it
do we
was
get a big?
generalizing it right across the board. So
Say
yes,
yeah.
federal, we're not supposed to be technically paid.
Yeah, but state tax we pay,
This
because
is
state
where-
tax is what takes care of your roads.
So at the end of the
your
year, we need
sewage.
some money back.
Well, we're supposed to.
That's right.
But why do you think? Well, look, federal tax, I haven't got back. I'm like, I get back a little bit of money in state, but federal tax, that's why I don't file taxes.
I ain't not running that risk though.
Yeah. Huh? Well, you got to remember,
And Justin
yeah,
agree
don't
a
listen
lot.
to me. You got to remember, these are very responsible men. They have
Disagreeing
children.
with it.
They have children. They own properties. I'm very dangerous because I have nothing to lose.
That's King Tax.
I have nothing to lose.
Listen,
These are responsible
fellas,
men. I'm not. I have nothing to lose.
Please.
So
this is where I'm
about
going
to
to
tell
tell
you
you.
all about it right
That portion with the tax paying, ignore that. Pay your tax, please. Pay
Yes,
your
yes,
tax.
yes, yes.
Somebody will be in. And you know, like
But before you pay your tax, I want you guys to find, because they still couldn't find it to this day, you need to find the law where it says in the law that we're supposed to pay federal income tax. You're not going to find it. You know why? Because that law does not exist.
well, you know what? The government have more power than me. So at the end
No,
of the day, if
they don't. See, that's where you're wrong. They don't.
Yeah, when
Remember,
they-
the
okay,
government
when
works
they
for
lock-
us. We do not work for the
when
government.
when
They do not
lock me
have
up
more
and-
power than
listen,
us.
When they lock me up, and even though it's against the Constitution, and they lock me up and throw me in prison,
Yeah.
who's going to bail me out, or who's going to get me out?
So let's talk about the stock market.
Well, that's why
right?
you got to know. You got to know your law, and then this way you're able to educate yourself and you represent yourself.
So we sat
What's good in
here
the stock?
and we talk about the stock market being down. Stock market is going down.
It is up.
Actually picked up.
And this
It
guy
picked up
called
a
Trump
lot.
a moron like 500 times.
Exactly. Yes, he
Maybe more.
did. Yes, he
Right,
And
did.
what?
And
And what?
me and Justin and Angel was saying, this is the time you should buy. You buy low and
And you sell high.
right.
I'm waiting to cash out. I need to get up.
We're supposed to start the training class with one-on-one with myself and you.
Yeah, but but I've been saying that. I've been saying let's start. But anyway, everything is going back up.
Yes.
The market is almost back at all-time high.
And you know why?
Right?
Because all the countries they put temporary they cancel or they put temporary hold
Yes,
on all
but
these turfs.
he does this because he wants a deal. He wants to level the playing field because we're not allowed to operate business in China like how China is allowed to operate business here.
Exactly.
No other
So,
countries
we
not
have
making
to-
a deal with him. No other countries is making a deal with
You
him.
don't know what's going on.
They
You're not
just
gonna
postpone. I mean, to what we know of it on the public level, they just postpone it. No country making a deal with him other than China recently. So
They didn't make any deal.
exactly, but they just paused
They have
the
they
turf.
have what 3 months or 90 days to come to an
Yeah.
agreement.
They ain't gonna comply.
Yes, of course. If there wasn't, we wouldn't put a pause on it.
Well, we'll
Remember, it's certain China too, because China, who's buying from China?
Exactly.
The world is buying from China.
No,
We
they're not.
buy from China, but the world is also buying.
Who's the
You-
world?
you-
Who's the world?
Everybody else outside of the
what,
US.
There are 194 countries out there that's buying from China.
And we still
Yeah.
and we still outbuy those 190. We still outbuy those 194 countries.
We
We are the
consume
world's biggest consumer.
80% of whatever China produced.
Exactly.
80%.
we bet we
80%.
80%.
Yeah.
So how do they have
So that
enough
means if
for
they
them-
made
for
5
themselves?
apples, we're buying 4
How
of
do they have
those
enough for
apples.
themselves?
At the
That's,
end of the day, and you see what
extreme.
China, you see what China does though. China take the funds, and this is why their infrastructure is so great. They take it, regardless of we making,
I
we
keep telling you,
buy,
you should move to China,
we
man.
buy all this
China
stuff.
is so great.
China need
China
we
is
need
so
to
great.
follow their principle. And
China is
invest
so
He's
great.
never
back
been. He's never
into
been to
it.
China,
But
has
it's true. I mean, we need to.
he? He's never been to China, has he?
Nah.
We need to invest in our own people. You see what China did? The beauty thing, the slick
But
thing.
that's
what
what
China
he's
did.
trying to
Well,
do.
that's why you have tariffs, because now you invest in your own nation. You understand? That's why we have tariffs, to invest in our own nation.
As I said, if the U.S. follow the principle of what China does and reinvest in our own instead of taking it and putting it in these politician pockets.
Okay, but that's
This
why we
country-
have tariffs. Don't
The
you
tariff
understand?
is not going to do anything.
Yes,
It has nothing to do with the tariff.
that's what it's there for.
It has to do with the infrastructure, the leadership of the country.
you explain it to
who
him, please?
design and take out things where when
He wants us to take. You want us to take. You want us to take model after a communist structure. China is a communist country. I will never, ever take structure from a communist country. That is a communist regime.
Let me cool down.
What don't you understand?
This is free market enterprise. I am not a communist. I refuse to be a
if
communist.
You look,
You refuse to take mandates.
if you look at the culture over there, right? The culture is structured where the government, when they make money, they put it back into the infrastructure and they put it back into the people. That's why China, when it comes to technology, they're 5 years ahead of us. When it comes to leadership skills, or look at kids, right?
They put it back into the industry. They do not
They
put it back into their
the-
people.
You
They put it
have
back into
kids
the industry,
over there
not
at
their
the
people.
age of 5 doing surgery, heart surgery, medical, cooking, cleaning, and all this stuff. This is the age of 5.
Where you get this information?
Let me ask you something.
Age
Let me ask you,
5.
if they invest into their
You
people,
have
why do
kids in school are billing
okay.
tablets.
Okay,
5 years
but
old,
that doesn't
10
mean.
years
But
old.
that doesn't mean they're investing in their people. They're just teaching them how. They're teaching them skills. Why do you think the Chinese
like
are all
India.
over? But why do you think the Chinese are all over the world? Because they can't make it in China. This is why they go out everywhere else. Same as India.
you
Why do you
talking
think
about?
India goes all over the world and they go settle everywhere else? Because they can't make it there.
But they can't make this.
Because it's oversaturated. It's way too many people. Those two countries, it's funny. You know what's the common thing with India and China? The greatest common factor? Those are the two most populated countries in the world. It is way too oversaturated with people. They can't make it where they're at. Do you know why?
Why?
Because their nations don't invest into their people. They just invest into the infrastructure and the industry.
They invest into the people. What are you talking
No,
about?
they don't. They don't.
Goodness, you know,
That's why they're communists.
I think
He does not understand what communism mean, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So would you prefer that here in America?
What?
Communism.
I would prefer the infrastructure what they designed to implement.
You evaded the question, you know?
No, I'm saying because
Thank
you
you.
want to put a trap and where if I
No,
say
I'm not
yes,
trying to put a trap. It's
You're not,
yes,
because
you're gonna like you're gonna.
that's why we have the tariffs. The tariffs.
Kermit.
Okay, you understand the money that we get, the money that the United States gets from the tariffs, that's the money that invests back into our nation. When that money invests back into our nation, you and I pay less taxes. We have more dividends, we have more money, we have more capital, we build more businesses, and our nation thrives. Why? Because we put tariffs in play. We haven't had tariffs in place. So what does that open up? That opens up for crooks. That opens up for crooked politicians. That opens up for backdoor deals. And this is why they were taking, as you were saying, all the money and putting in their own pocket. Why? Because there were no tariffs in play. It was just basically one big robbery, one big heist. So now we're finally getting it the way it's supposed to be. But what it is, unfortunately, leftist media, which is most of our media in this country, is that they want to paint this narrative because they're on the payroll. They do not care about us here. What's going on right now, that's harsh, but that's what you call tough love. So we need that because that's what's going to create everything better. What goes on in China, they do not care about their people there. Why do you think there's so many Chinese in the United States? Why do you think there's so many Chinese in UK? Why do you think there's so many Chinese in Australia? Why do you think there's so many Chinese in the West Indies?
You can't depict that white Chinese you have because every country, every culture is here, and some of them here. Because you may be in New York, you're not seeing that they in Florida, in Illinois, or Washington. Or these other states, not because you're not out there in the 50 states. You're not. Every country, you have amount of people. You have Russians here to a certain extent. You have Chinese here to a certain extent. You have the Jews here. Yes, but they out harbor New York, so you will see them here mostly.
Right.
They everywhere else, but they're mostly in New York. Same concept for all these nations. So everyone come here trying to make a life for themselves. Regardless if it's Chinese, regardless if it's Russians, regardless if it's Italians, Brazilians, English, or whatever the case may be, you have a good amount of
But I'm not talking about.
Jamaicans.
I'm not talking about just here. The Chinese do this in every single country in the world. If you go in any part of the world, there's Chinese everywhere.
But you have American in every part of the country in the world too. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, because we go over there to colonize and make money. They're leaving their country because they
You guys
can't
are
make any
so
money over there.
Borderline is not even funny. You're not making any context.
No,
That's
you're
such a-
not making any
That's
context. I'm trying to explain to you.
that's such a broad assertion, though, because you
Exactly.
don't want to speak
Thank you, Mr.
What do you mean?
generalized like
The
everybody.
mass, right, is not making no money in China.
Exactly.
It's just
what?
a few.
The masses are not making money in China. It's just a few.
All right.
Let's put it this way. The mass make more money here. You and I, doing what we do, make more money than the regular people over there in
If
China.
things was that
So what
good,
does that
we
tell
wouldn't
you? That
leave
means
China. Think about it.
What?
If things was that good in China, they wouldn't leave China.
But
Exactly.
look, okay, so let's put it this way. Things are good here, but people leave here, right?
Go weird.
Go to different countries. I don't know.
They go different
different countries.
They go to Europe a lot.
You
Yeah,
guys
for
don't make you
opportunity.
contradict your guys self.
No, they do.
You guys
No,
doesn't
no,
make any
no.
sense or whatsoever.
When
you
you
guys
li-
bias.
When you leave here and go to, like, let's say the
Ireland,
Caribbean,
Australia.
you need
Right.
like, it's like simplicity. You want a simpler life.
exactly.
You want to live amongst the river. You want to drink coconut, stuff like that. It's not because you're not able to, let's see, strive in a way where to obtain wealth or something. 'Cause this is the place to do it.
They've
You could
already
sell-
made their money
you
and
could
then
sell-
they leave.
Mike,
You could sell
look,
dirt
guys,
here in America, and make money,
Guys, stop
You
being.
can't go to Jamaica and sell dirt unless you're selling a lot of dirt, to
Penny a
build
ton.
infrastructure or something like that. But
People. I think you guys are living on Pluto or somewhere.
No, we're not.
'Cause you're
I
not
think
seeing
you're
what-
living on
You're
Pluto.
not seeing actualities here.
why would a
Say-
Chinese
say
national
plan.
leave China to go to the Caribbean if things was that good in
People
China?
leave
Yeah.
here.
Huh?
People leave here because even though
No,
this coun-
China.
No,
China.
I'm giving
Are
an
you saying
example.
China is
Okay.
perfect?
People,
They probably
I
feel
did not say
oppressed.
China
Yeah,
is
but you're
perfect.
saying, okay, you're saying people leave U.S. for
People
what?
leave here because also they are financially struggling, and people go elsewhere. People leave here for better health. Yeah, they want to
True,
have a
true.
simpler life.
Okay.
And
True.
whatever the case may be.
All
and I
right.
think this country it creates more health problem than you ever for
Okay.
other than other countries, right?
Okay.
To my opinion. Anyway, people leave here because also they are financially struggling.
Okay.
People go elsewhere where they can make it much easier. They would whatever country they will decide that, okay, if I go there, I would have a better lifestyle, living there financially, health-wise, economy-wise, whatever the case may be. People do that. So yeah, it may be not a tremendous number.
So why do
All
they
right
leave
then,
China?
and that's
Why do they
you
leave
just
China?
proved my point.
What?
Basically, the percentage of Americans exporting themselves out of America is far lower
Then
than
say
Chinese
that.
exporting
Then I
themselves
would- then I
from
would-
China. But that's what I'm saying.
that's not what
so
you were
obviously,
saying.
if that's the case,
You
that
were-
means that we are better off than the people in China,
I
which
mean,
proves my
look,
point.
Look, at the end of the day, this country is a country where it has wealth, right? And it propels you. I wouldn't even want to use the word propel, but it encourages you. It's like one of those places where if you have a chance in Jamaica, like we are Jamaicans, you guys are from the Caribbean, right? Or elsewhere.
Yeah.
From your country, whatever the case may be. You know that if you stay in your country, between 1 to 10, it's probably like maybe 8 or 9 or 8, you won't make it or get wealthy, right? When you come here, that increases, right?
Some interesting
It's
stat.
become like maybe 7 or 6 or 7 or 8 that you probably can become wealthy.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that context, you going to want to come into this environment.
Exactly.
Right.
And this is what most people do. They come here because they have a better opportunity of becoming wealthy,
To succeed.
or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
Better quality of life.
Yeah, better quality
Listen,
of
More
life.
freedom.
Listen, we don't do that succeeding thing. And the pie.
The
and
what?
The girl.
Oh, boy, you don't do that succeeding, because I said you will succeed in you get where you're going, right?
This guy think literally, right?
Look,
These guys on different.
Yeah,
like I was
so-
saying, the regular people here in the United States have it better than the regular people in China.
Prosperous.
Okay.
Agreed.
All right then, and that's
Agreed.
that's the point that I'm trying to make. So that's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, when you look at the population, it's a 2 point something.
What do you
billion
mean?
people.
Where?
Yeah,
In China.
exactly.
China.
They're
Right?
over. They are.
No,
Yeah,
no.
they're oversaturated.
They
So
2%
therefore,
of
there
the
is no
world
opportunity
population.
there because there's too many people.
Right.
Just like
See-
India. It's
see,
too
like
many
India.
people.
Too many people.
Too many people.
You get it?
I get it, long, but at the same
Too dense. Too
at the
dense.
same time. Anyway, so one of the things to I don't know, it's not really I would say politics, but it can go in. What you guys think? So today was Diddy trial continue, and what's the girl that is accusing him? Cassie, which she get paid off. Somebody made a statement, and I'm sitting there like, does that make sense? Or I mean, I don't know. But what's your view, guys? So she get paid off, right? Diddy clear up some stuff with her and pay off and say, listen, go about your business, yada yada. But yet now she's on trial testifying against the man. How is that? I mean, what do you kind of see the conflict? I don't even want to use the word of conflict of interest, but conflict of some type of I don't know. I don't get it.
What do you mean?
Somebody brought it up, and I started looking at it, but I was like, well, that has
It seems like it seems like a breach. Like there's a
it's
contractual
kind of
breach.
probably a breach of contract then,
Right.
Because they
Well, that's
cannot
if she
come to-
signed something saying that she wasn't going to say anything.
But none this right.
I mean, that's if she signed.
Yeah, if she didn't sign it, she can do whatever she wants. And to be honest with you,
I don't know who would let out millions
and
of dollars
to be honest with you,
without
this
that
is
type of
Puffy's karma.
agreement.
So it's not like, we're not going to sit here and act like, Puffy's an innocent victim. He's not. This is his karma. You reap what you sow.
I don't know, but I mean, at the end of the day,
Rastaman.
Everybody's innocent until they're proven guilty beyond a reasonable
that doesn't
doubt.
make it. That I cannot understand that logic.
Everyone's
That's foolish.
presumed innocent until they are proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Support because that's foolish.
Like I said, you got to come to him.
Talk to me.
That's foolishness. If I witness you as an officer, let's say an officer too, enforcement of the law,
Right.
and I witnessing you murdering someone,
Right.
you have these morons who go up there and say, hey, I am not guilty. And they have to waste taxpayer money to go through this process. And they're guilty because they claim that they're not because they want to find some loophole within the system. That this is one of the things Oakland want to throw out too, because she's saying that a lot of technicality is going on where cases get dismissed and some of these innocent people are suffering, like victims who maybe have a loved one get killed and then they find some type of a technicality who of the murder and they toss out the case and those guys walk.
Right.
She's trying to demolish that, like trying to throw it out where regardless of the technicality, we are going to go through with this process.
She'll discontinue that.
Yeah, we're going to go through this process and find you guilty and lock you behind up or whatever the case may be, which is good. I don't like some of the moves.
It puts a lot of people in jeopardy.
That was good. But coming back to the point where I don't like the fact you're talking about until proven guilty. If I witness a murder, you witness whatever is murder, crime,
still gotta go to court.
whatever the case may be, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, why do I need to?
You still got to go to court and they got to
spend
present the
taxpayer
facts,
money?
the evidence.
Because and put it this way.
For due
right now,
process, all of us
way we act,
entitled to due
when we have this
process.
technology, with the cops now are equipped with visuals, right?
Right.
That even make it worse. I have to go to court, waste Mike, your money, my money, or whatever the case may be, to go through this process for someone to sit there and talk about I'm not guilty while you have the facts. Not theories, not assumptions.
Well, that's
facts.
evidence. Well, that's
Right,
evidence.
but
Evidence
you gotta
that
own
you committed this crime, and
Okay.
then you still have to go through this rigorous.
He still has to be
nonsense.
tried in
Right,
court.
but you got to
He
understand.
still has to be tried in court because it's due process.
Right, you don't want
That's
to
in the
make
Constitution.
you don't want to make everybody subjective based on public opinion. Somebody gonna say you deserve 30 years. Somebody gonna say you deserve 50 years.
Well,
So
that's
let it
different.
go
That's
through the
different. But I'm
process.
saying, why I
Or
have to go
he
through
or
all
she.
this process? It doesn't
Because
make
that's
any
due
sense
process.
because
That's in
I'm
the
guilty.
Constitution.
If the court now, yes, they would decide, okay, you need to get 50 years.
Because
that is
a lot-
Because they
but-
granted,
but
because
my-
they
but my-
granted
but
due
my-
process.
Mind you, a lot of individuals do things. It's on camera, and just the optics of it gonna show that they're guilty. But you don't know if those people you might be dealing with a condition, not a person. People have a lot of mental strains that they're going through. There's different thing that plays.
Yeah,
into that.
I mean, and
So-
this is one of the things they piggyback off and use as a scapegoat to say, oh, yeah, like this guy that murdered this family in Long Island. And he came in, it was an officer too. He came in.
That he
like,
was mentally ill?
Yeah, I'm sick. Oh, I'm sick in the head.
No, I think for guys like that, you should just throw them off a cliff.
I think you had
That's a little
that's
radical.
the
Yeah, this guy a little
But no,
too
but
radical.
you know, to make it less painful, you put a blindfold on him and just push him off.
Take all this misery. Unbelievable.
I don't know.
Catch a heart attack before you land.
Yeah, well, well, people, yeah, we're coming to that time. It was a pleasure of speaking with you, sharing with you what's going on, what Trump is doing, what the administration is doing.
King Trump.
And I know baby Trump is happy over there. And as I said,
Rightfully so.
Kudos-
Rightfully
kudos
so.
to-
Rightfully so.
He keeps calling
First
the intelligent
100
investor Baby
first-
Trump, but
first
his name is
100.
MAGA Porter. If he's Baby Trump, then he's MAGA Porter.
I'm MAGA Porter. I'm MAGA Porter. Somehow I inherit something that I yeah.
Yo, they say I defend Trump for everything.
No, I don't. You know what's funny?
I
This
don't
guy have
really-
foresight, though. This guy has foresight.
He doesn't
can-
defend
Yeah,
Trump.
yo,
He speaks. He speaks.
listen.
You know, he's a
lot of it.
just a lot of common sense.
I send him some
You have
stuff.
to believe half of what you see and none of what you hear.
I know
Exactly.
what-
So all this stuff is taking place, right? Remember, Elon and Trump is this close.
Bench and Batty, right?
This close. And Elon have business in China, like big business.
Yeah.
So of course they're not gonna do anything to really jeopardize Elon's business.
Yeah.
Just think about it. It's just common sense, right?
That's why they went
So
to China.
all this thing, all this nice making and this fear mongering and all
Yeah, I
that.
know what all the rumbling was about, for real, though.
They want some of these stock at cheaper price. It's just what I believe.
Yeah.
They want these stock at cheaper price, and it came all the way down 20%, 30%, 35%.
Yeah.
Tesla down 35%. Amazon down 28%.
So Elon can buy out his own stocks again, right?
Yeah,
tell
it's
you-
not just Elon. It's a lot of people, you know, because you need something, you need some form of news to bring it down,
Yeah.
right?
You're right.
So there you go. I mean, 9.1% interest rate. Who's buying out?
It's ridiculous.
And what it went down to? What you said? 6.9% it went down.
6.82, yeah.
I went
That's
to Greenwich.
beautiful. Look at that.
6.6. Wait,
What is that? That's like 2.5% it went down.
Listen,
That's
I went,
great.
See what the Greenwich, Connecticut?
For
yeah,
10 years.
I went to Greenwich, Connecticut to go purchase a house, right? Yo, the price of the house was perfect. Everything was good. The interest rate,
Insane.
it wasn't good. Yeah, and I had to back out of that deal. Because if my interest rate now is
Greenwich is nice too.
2.9%, right? 2.9%.
What? 2.9?
2.9%.
That's an excellent interest rate.
Right,
That's
right.
outstanding, dude. This is like the
Then-
pandemic
That is an
rates.
excellent interest
You
rate.
get like pandemic rates.
That's damn near nothing.
Then for a single family home where I would have to pay the entire mortgage, right? No tenants. It's what? It was what, like 8% at the time and climbing. And I'm doing the maths and I'm like, damn, it's like it's like 4 times whatever I'm paying now. You know?
It's ridiculous.
For
Yeah.
a multifamily,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pay that for a single family. Nah, man.
That's crazy.
Greenwich is nice too. You know what I like about Greenwich? As Greenwich is a very wealthy town,
Of course.
Yeah.
but it's
Safe,
Lower
safe.
Fairfield. It's Lower
Close.
Fairfield, and their property taxes are relatively low compared to the rest of the state. Like my father lives in Connecticut, and the property tax in Connecticut is super high, but in Greenwich, really, really low. Yeah. But if you notice, when you go to Greenwich, nobody has Connecticut plates. They register their cars in New York. You know why? Because in Connecticut, you got to pay taxes on your car every year. So imagine having a $300,000 Bentley with Connecticut plates, and then you got to pay
Wait a minute. You pay taxes on your car
Yeah.
yearly?
every year. It's extortion.
I think it's based on the engine size too.
That's crazy,
based on the
dude.
price
It's
of the car.
insane, bro.
And
It's
so
insane.
I'm seeing people.
you just pay for the
I'm
car.
seeing people ready.
It's
to
still
No, but on
cheap-
your
it's
car,
still
you pay
cheaper,
property
though.
tax on your
Still
car too in
cheaper.
Connecticut.
That's me. It's still cheaper.
Yeah, man.
What? What's still
Connecticut
cheaper?
taxes the hell out of people, huh?
Right. So the insurance is cheaper because it's in Connecticut, right?
Yeah,
So it's less
insurance is
traffic.
cheaper.
But they're
Yeah,
taxing on the car, so
but they're
you mean-
taxing on the car.
Yeah,
So
but
you
it
will
depends on
save-
the engine size.
So you save on one location and then you
No, it
still have
depends
to
on
pay
the,
back.
the size of the engine.
Exactly.
You're
You
still
know,
paying,
like
though.
if you have, let's say, a freaking
8.0.
right, because in Greenwich, it's Pier 12, V12, and all those cars.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Look,
Aston
a Bentley.
Martin
A
and
Bentley's
all those
$300,000. So imagine if their car tax on that. I think the car tax is It's like 3%. So you figure 3% of $300,000.
So you're paying like
That's
that-
$3,000. You're paying $3,000
like
in
3 or
property
4
tax.
grand in
I
the-
mean, you can afford that if you have a Bentley.
if you have a Bentley, yeah,
you can
I mean,
afford that.
No, but if you're smart, you get New York plates on that Bentley, and then then you don't have to pay them anything. And if you notice when you go to Greenwich,
What
Circumvent.
about circumvention?
no, but look,
Circumvent.
the next time you guys go to Greenwich, look at all the really, really nice cars, Range Rovers, Bentleys, because they're all over the place. Look at the plates. I bet you only one out of every 5 cars is gonna have a Connecticut
No,
plate.
I disagree.
The rest of them have New York, Florida.
Insurance is way less though.
Insurance is cheap. Insurance is cheaper in Connecticut. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So
like
it's
a-
kind of a conflict because
Yeah.
they
I might get
charge-
evens
That's
out.
kind of
They're taxing you on the car based on the engine. You could, if you have a V6, a V8.
Yeah.
et
Well,
cetera,
based
et
on the
cetera,
value of the
or
car.
the value of the car,
Yeah.
you're gonna pay. But then again, they cutting you down in insurance. So it's like,
Yeah.
give me this higher rate, then give me this. I mean, I don't.
Where in New York we have high insurance unless we register the car somewhere in
There's nothing low up
in
here.
upstate New York.
Westchester
Then it's
has
cheap.
some.
No, you got to go upstate,
you
like
gotta go
register
to,
your
like,
car.
Arseny or
Yeah, you got to go register your car in like Rochester,
Buffalo,
Where else?
Rochester.
Buffalo, and then your insurance is cheap. But anything Westchester, Rockland, what's the other one? What's the one right above us? Putnam, Dutchess.
County.
The insurance is still going to be high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good night, folks. Thank you again for jumping. And without, as usual, pertaining to what we discussed today,
Yes.
I would ask
Final
everyone
words?
our final thoughts on this Congress, what Congress did with the, to what, 4.5
$4.5 trillion tax cut.
with
Like-
Israel, et
like-
cetera, et cetera.
Like I've been saying, okay, we're gonna be fine. I feel this is the beginning. We're not out the woods yet. Like I got a feeling there's gonna be a couple of other rough
I
and
agree.
tumbles, but this is actually a very, very good start.
We're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, we're definitely headed in the right direction. The fact that we don't really, like I said, the fact that we don't have to, the fact that we don't have to deal with Israel or
Yeah.
back any of their nonsense. And we're actually, making deals with Middle East countries, and we're able to conduct business in without any conflict. That's definitely going to help out because we still are going to have some rough times. Like I said, I doubt they keep saying, and they've been talking about it because they've been proving them wrong. When they kept saying, "Oh, we're going to go into a recession," we're not going into a recession. It's going to be a little rough, but I got a feeling we're all going to end up better on the other side. And like I said, I always say, these are for people that work. People like us, we work. We earn our keep. Anybody else expecting
That's
a
a
handout, public assistance, your days are numbered.
Very noble.
Angel, your thoughts?
Stay positive. Stay optimistic. Whatever it is, don't let your emotion outweigh your common sense. You know what I mean?
They say when emotions are high, intelligence is low.
Very good. Once you let your emotion outweigh your intelligence, downhill from there.
I don't like how you're throwing words at Mike Porter now. I don't like that, man.
And always buy yourself a nice spiffy Robert Raymond suit.
Yeah, this guy's an instigator.
Instigator, right? That's mega Trump for you. Then. That's Trump.
Oh, now he's Mega Trump.
He's mega Trump.
with a
now.
straight
He's the
face.
intelligent investor.
He's baby Trump over there.
Yeah, you have to always pay attention to the opportunity. When things are bad, it's an opportunity
You
for
owe you a
someone
couple
else.
tax classes. Tax classes.
Right. So, yeah, everything is good, man. We're headed in the right direction. Things are not so bad like before.
Give thanks.
My opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
Yeah.
opinion. Things are not so bad.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, I agree that seems like we are heading into a good direction, and I hope it stay on this path for the economy, for us individually, for us consumers. I hope it stays there, and I hope Trump continue doing some of his good works, and I hope he doesn't drift off into the dictatorship, and he run this country how it's supposed to run.
I guess whatever you put in his drink is wearing off.
Fair enough.
No, what's crazy is that he's like trying to be nice, but then he's still negative talking about with this dictatorship. He doesn't give up.
Yeah,
But I told you he's turning. He's slowly turning, Mike. You see that, right?
Anyway, so as what we said,
They
you know,
might
stay
crumble.
positive. Do your own research. Look what's going on. Get involved.
Right.
People always saying that, oh, I don't deal with politics. You wake up, breathe, eat, sleep,
Exactly.
politics every day.
Every day.
Get
Everybody
involved.
has to deal with
You
it.
have to
Stay
do it.
abreast.
Be informed, be
Stay
aware.
abreast. Stay
I have a
abreast.
request.
Nobody's coming to save you. You
I-
got to
I-
save yourself.
I need you guys to send Mike a photo,
What?
like something that you like,
Okay.
and we change that and we put everyone's photo up there.
All right, cool.
All right.
Yeah, but we should take a pic. Well, I got to get Mike his MAGA hat so he can wear it.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen.
Yes, it is going to happen.
Listen,
It's already
I would
happening.
like one. I want one.
You want a MAGA hat? I'm
The
gonna
black
find
one.
get
I
you.
want a black one.
Oh, you want a black MAGA hat? I just got the red.
Like
I got a red
Elon.
one. I got to see if I can find a black one.
Elon got a black one?
Elon have a black one. I want a villain one.
He probably made that
Yes,
in China.
people,
Right?
please
Right. Okay.
like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Thank you.
As what we said, peace out.
Peace.
All right.